Me personally, if anybody's sort of logged onto or seen any of the Coalville Nub News stories, we started about 15 months ago, one in Coalville, one in Ashby. I'm from Ashby, but my dad worked for the district council, so I know a fair bit about Coalville as well, and the Northwest Leicestershire district. And what we're here for is really to try and give a voice to people who don't often get any kind of voice in the media. There are various other media outlets in this particular area, but not everybody wants to do what they consider to be maybe the smaller stories or talk about organisations or projects. So it's what we're here for, and really, anybody can email us with information or something they want to publicise. Dina obviously lets us have quite a bit on email about Think and Coalville Can. So we're happy to promote anything to do with that and raising the profile of the town. I've been a journalist for probably 38, I think it's coming up to 38 years now. Started on small weekly papers in East Anglia, then moved to London, and then moved to Birmingham. And when the Nub News project came up, I decided to write more about my home area, Ashby and Coalville. So the way the media is going at the moment, it appears to be moving less and less away from what we call the hyper-local journalism, which is effectively almost going in on itself, if I can describe it that way. A website like Leicestershire Live is based in Leicester, and it will publicise Leicester and then go outwards. We're kind of based in Ashby and Coalville and go inwards, if that makes any sense, in that we try and promote stories and make them as important as they were if they were in the middle of Leicester, say. So we treat our two towns like big cities, if that makes any sense at all. We raise the profile of the towns. We're a national network, so you'll find us in places like Falmouth, in places like Biddulph in Stoke-on-Trent. I'm just trying to think where our furthest flung site is. It probably is Falmouth in Cornwall, actually. But I think there's 64 of them at the moment, and the target is to be 700. All with the same ethos, the same target, the same philosophy, if you like, of making sure that their town gets a voice, and to try and publicise the issues that are important in your street or in your town that maybe don't always get the publicity it deserves. I'm trying to think of an example, but I think we've covered stories in both Coalville and Ashby where people care about their own towns, and we've tried to reflect that in what we write. And we're also open to the public, because the reason it's called Nub News, and I'm always asked this, it's not Hub, it's Nub. If you go onto the website, there's a black button called Nub It, and you are able to write your own articles on there, send them in, we look at them, 9 times out of 10 we'll run with them, and that's the idea, that we try and get people involved in what we're doing as well. It isn't just me, it isn't just all about what's coming out of a council meeting or the police station. And I've heard things today that I didn't know about, so I'm quite interested in that kind of thing as well. Just giving people a voice. Does that make sense, Dina? Is that pretty much what? Is there anything, anywhere else direction you'd like me to go in here?
I'm just looking. I'm just getting the link to put the Nub News in. I didn't know about the Nub It, but I've just seen that there now, so I'm coming back. I'll put it in the chat unless somebody's beaten.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps we should make more of that, because I think when we started out, we did we did encourage people to get involved, but not many people knew about us. Now more people know about us, but perhaps they don't know that they can contribute themselves. And what we would do, and it doesn't really matter in terms of being a journalist or being a trained journalist, it's a matter of actually getting the information to us or getting details to us about what you're doing, about what people are doing in the town, to make Coalville a better place. And then we edit it. We'll perhaps put some pictures with it or maybe follow it up. But if anybody sees that Nubbit button and thinks, yeah, I've got a story to tell, click on it, write a few words, and then, I mean, the chances are it'll get on the website, and you're perhaps getting yourself some publicity where you wouldn't have got any in the past. And as I say, Dean has done a great job with that in promoting Think and Coalville Can, and we try to promote that as much as we can as well. So, but I don't think you've nubbed it, have you, Dina? You've just sent me an email.
I've never nubbed it. Should have a go at nubbing it.
Yeah, but a few local councillors have discovered this, and with the elections coming up, they're nubbing me like crazy. So, but you've got to be careful there that you don't show too much bias. Sort of, I was caught out the other week by, I won't mention any names, but I ran one story that gave a very slanted view of a particular subject, and I probably shouldn't have run it in that way, but we try not to get too political, and certainly not too politically biased. We will talk to any of the political parties in the town, Ashby and Coalville. So there's a balance, and really, we don't take sides in any kind of situation, and because we have to be seen to be neutral and inclusive. So but yeah, so that is an option of the site. It's what makes us different from, say, Leicestershire Live. You'll see a story about Coalville on Leicestershire Live, but they may well appreciate people coming forward with story ideas, but with us, you can write a story, send it to us directly, and then we can look at it, and if all's well, we can get it online within half an hour. That's the difference. That's what we're about. And actually talking about it now is something that we should promote more, and I haven't for a while. So well, that's my story anyway. I'm familiar with the area. I haven't just been parachuted in from London or anything like that. So and it's the same with all of the towns in the Nub News network, or they're all run by people who come from the town and know the issues, and know where places are, and know where roads are, and that kind of thing. So there is a real interest, a local interest, a real sort of commitment from us to represent the towns and the communities.
Are there any particular groups of people you're interested in hearing from that you don't normally, that we could help with?
Well, that's a good point. Probably there are groups that we just don't know about. Like I say, I've heard some ideas today and some interesting projects that are new to me. So, but certainly I would like to hear from any community groups. This is a good point, because I'll look on Facebook and I'll see a variety of community groups, food banks or people like that, and people will plug themselves on Facebook. But there is, an opportunity there as a vehicle here for them to say even more about what they do. So they're definitely sort of people who are trying to make a difference within the town. We're very interested to hear from them and what they are doing and what they're doing to make Coalville better. I can't name any specific groups there, Dina, because there are probably things people I haven't heard about or don't hear from, and maybe they're doing great work behind the scenes and people don't know about it. But this is their chance. I mean, we can help them.
I was just thinking about young people. Do you get many young people coming on?
No, hardly any. No, it's new. It's very much established groups of people. in the town. If young people are starting, as I've heard today, different projects. I mean, a couple of people have mentioned Number 22. I've been there with one of your colleagues, Dina. It was about 6 months ago now. So I know the work they're doing, which is great. And I'm sure there will be more that would you can mention to that perhaps we haven't heard from yet. But yeah, young people forming themselves into groups or doing community work. Very interested to hear what goes on. What goes on there.
I'm just interested. I'm curious to know where the young people currently get their information on about their local town. You know, or do they? So in chat, if everyone could add, you know, where do you find out about what's going on locally? Just that might be of interest to Graham. And because I don't know, well, we'll see what comes up. Ben Wren, Nub News. And you've never written an article. That's brilliant. So there's a challenge.
Yeah.
Straight away. Earwig on my mother's conversations. Brilliant.
That's
Taylor,
exactly what I do. That's where I get a lot of my information from. She has a network of people.
Taylor, tell us more. Where does Taylor get it from? Your mum get it from?
I don't know.
She just picks
She
it
just
up.
comes over and talks to me now, and I just stand there and listen.
Okay, and it doesn't necessarily be if you're not in Colville. It's where do you find out
about
what? Where do you find out?
Colville Times there, so that's another. That's another obviously a very well established outlet, but they're not online, so that's the difference between us and the Colville Times. Yeah,
and the reporter there is very friendly and will come and do a session. News app on my phone sometimes give me stuff from Leicester Mercury.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess is Nub News, can you get it as an app?
Well, that's something we're working on actually. That is the next sort of step. And it is something that we're aware of, that if people actually download an app, there'll be a lot of things there that they can just directly access, it's but we are thinking about that. Yeah. I'm not much of a tech guy. We have a tech department and they know how to do this sort of thing.
So I'm just also curious now as to what would Nub News need to do for you to go, actually, yeah, this is something that's crucial for my life. What is it they would need to be putting up there?
Sorry, Dina, just say that again, please.
No, I was just asking the crew.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, not for you, for your, it would just be interesting to see what it is what they would want to be seeing, that, and it may be there's some things that they want to see that you already do, and it may be there's that might be a new idea. I just thought it'll be interesting. Let's see what's in chat. Nothing yet. What sort of things would Nub News need to put in for you to start sharing it? What would make you share it with a friend? What would it be? Or to act on it? I guess once everyone starts sharing their articles, then people will be like wanting to watch, share each other's gossip or something exciting.
Well, I agree. The exciting stories are always the best ones. If there's a good police story, that always gets more people interested, and that's always going to, that's always going to be the way. People are excited by the crime stories, but people are very fond of council stories as well, if it affects their council tax, something like that. But I suspect people here, if I wrote more about your projects or Dina's organisation, that would probably get a lot of interest as well amongst you guys. But I'm interested to hear quite a lot about what you do. I mean, that's as I say, if people want to drop me a line after this, I'm more than interested in taking it further.
And have you got any top tips for how to write an article that would
if anybody wants to write an article, which I would put their name to, so that's a, you know, we wouldn't sort of claim any credit for it. It would be all your own work. My best tip would be whatever story you're trying to tell me, put it in the first paragraph. Tell me what the story is within the first paragraph, because that will not only get my interest, it will also get the reader's interest as well. So whatever, I mean, some of the projects sound really, you know, really quite exciting. So, and then maybe link it into the whole project, the Kickstarter project, which is a popular, it's popular nationwide, isn't it? It's not just a Coalville thing, but obviously, you know, we've promoted it from Dina's point of view in Coalville, and perhaps tell us how Kickstarter has helped you, how the project has helped you, how you've managed to sort of get what you want to do off the ground. I mean, as I say, first paragraph, second paragraph, let me know what it is you're trying to tell me, and that's the best tip I could possibly give you. But after that, just give me the facts and what you do. Be interested to hear. But we've done stories on other groups before, and they've gone down well. They've been very popular. People have started fundraisers, which is another thing that is quite popular. I think you'll find the Coalville Times as well. You know, a lot of people go to them with fundraiser stories, and they're always of interest, especially over the last year. Today marks the 12 months of lockdown. So that's a, you know, guys, if you're listening, that's another subject matter for you. You know, how has lockdown affected you? And it sounds like a lot of you have put that time to good use. So, you know, that's another way of, if you think about a story, what we will always say is, we call it a hook to hang it on. You know, like something, you know, well, I've done this, and the hook to hang it on will be lockdown. So, you know, I started this because we went into 12 months of lockdown. So it's that kind of thing. You know, you can link it all together. You can go from lockdown to your own project, to Kickstarter, to the work you do with Dina. So there's plenty to go at if anybody fancies promoting themselves, or it's not a case of promoting yourselves, it's just letting other people know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's all good for the CV and for whatever
It
happens
is actually,
next.
yeah, because then you've got a little published article, and you know, it's there as something, you know, as part of what you're doing.
Would you say having images is quite important for?
I would say, I know there's a couple of filmmakers on here. If you're also into photography, you want to supply your own photos, but that is vital, because every story we run has a photo, and sometimes, you know, there isn't a photo to use with a story. I'll have to go into a photo library and take one off there. But more often than not, I'd like to use one of the town, or of a person, or something like that. And it doesn't have to be an expensive camera. You do it on your phone. A lot of the pictures that you'll find on Coalville and the News are taken on my iPhone. So, and you know, people will be very aware that those are, you know, good quality. But it doesn't have to be an iPhone. As long as you can take a picture of something and send it in with the article, then so much the better, because it illustrates what you're trying to do.
But I think, Harry, did you unmute because you wanted to ask a question?
I was just saying, I think, yeah, because it feels a bit self-promoting, like you're saying, but that's right. Because, yeah, I'm sort of, my project is this walk around Coalville, and one thing that's going to be what I'm looking for in the next couple of weeks is getting that kind of out there to people. So either that, or maybe even further down the line, if there's some sort of event, obviously, because we can't really do events at the moment, but further down the line, like, would that be good if there was like an event and publishing that?
Yeah, it sounds interesting. If you let me have more details on that, I'm more than happy to look at it. It just sounds like something a little bit different as well. So you know, let me know about it, and tell me a bit more information, and you know, we'll definitely look into that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Superb. Anybody got anything else before we let Graham go? It's been thank you ever so much for giving your time.
I've enjoyed
Graham.
it. Yeah, I've
to,
enjoyed it. It's it's just, you know, we're here to promote ourselves as well. So, you know, anything like this, if it helps people get to know about us a bit more and what we do, then that's been good.
You mentioned you started your career as a journalist.
Yes.
And one of our previous speakers earlier today said that the school told him that the last thing they should bother doing is a journalist because you just won't make it. So obviously you've ignored anything that the school teachers told you, or maybe they did told you something different. So can you tell us a little bit more about how your career?
There is a bit more. Very similar, actually. I was encouraged to do that because at school I was okay at writing. That was, you know, if it was a toss up between English and maths, it was always English. So anybody who has a sort of a fondness for writing, then, you know, journalism is one path. I did go for one interview when I was, I think, about 18, just about to leave school, and they just sent me packing saying you'll never make it. So after that, I went I went to journalism college, and pretty much went through what would now be a journalism degree, but it wasn't called that then. You didn't get journalism degrees. It was just a journalistic qualification. And from then I went on to a weekly paper, and then I was able to go on to other papers. I do a lot of sports reporting on the side as well. So that's another part of what I do, nothing to do with Nub News. I mean, I am actually a freelance journalist, so I do lots of different things, but Nub News is just one side of it. So it doesn't really matter if anybody tells you that you can't do something. You just have to sort of dig your heels in and think, well, yes, I can. So if somebody's already said that they were told they wouldn't make it at school, I was told something similar by, it was the editor of the Burton Mail, actually, in 1980. So it probably made me more determined. So no way should you give up. You should actually say, actually, yes, I can do this, and I'll take on board what you're saying, and I'll prove you wrong.
Brilliant. That's a really good message to end on.
It is. I mean, you really shouldn't be discouraged if you think you're good at doing something and somebody doesn't agree with you. Not everybody will think the same thing. So, you know, it's a case of taking it on board, learning from any mistakes you might make, and God knows I've made several mistakes over the years, and I've always tried to learn from them. So, you know, I'll always take any criticism on board or anything like that. So I think that's important. You know, you just have to sort of be tunnel vision and know what you want to do.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Graham. If everybody would like to either unmute and say thanks, or put something on the screen in the usual way. Now we've got Zoom.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting what you were talking about, and just kind of, I don't know, whenever people are being positive and inspiring, it just, yeah, it is inspiring, obviously, and yeah, makes me feel better about everything that's going on and in my head.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, like I say, I've been really quite impressed with the projects I've heard about today. So I think it's all very interesting. So, you know, keep it up, and you know, try and make a success of it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Graham.
All right, Dina. Well, thanks for that. I've enjoyed that. So, yes, anything else, and please, you know, follow it up, guys, with anything you want to, perhaps, you know, go through Dina. She'll pass on my email address, and don't forget the nub it button.
Yeah, I think we should all go and nub it and create
Lovely.
something.
Yeah.
Thanks, Graham.
All right, Dina. Thanks very much. Bye,
See
everyone.
you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.